So for a while now, I have really struggled to get into most new seasonal anime. There has definitely been a few that I've enjoyed, but aside from that, I'll typically check out like 2 or 3 episodes or something, then be like, yeah, it's okay, not bad, but really not that good either.
I mean, it's alright, like...
And so whenever I actually do get hooked on a new one from episode 1, it's a really rewarding experience, just like it was when I started watching Orb: The Movements of the Earth. What can be really captivating for me when I consume a new story is that it tries something new, or does something that's not very normal to do. You know, like have the main character be a hamburger or something. I don't care, just be a little creative with it. And what this show does that's kinda out of the ordinary is that it changes the main character pretty often. Not so often that you get whiplash and don't get time to be attached to anyone, but just often enough to make you bawl your eyes out and cry in the corner every time it changes. And at first this can be a bit jarring, like, damn, I missed the first guy, like, can we go back to him? But then you spend like 2 episodes with the next character and it'll just be like, damn, alright, shit, I'm all in. And what makes it particularly engaging to follow these characters is that every one of them has a conviction, which is basically their motivation, but at the same time, it's a little bit more than that. It's kind of like their way of life, and their every decision is based off of this conviction. What's really cool about this is that you get to see how they fulfill them. A lot of them gets their convictions challenged, and you get to see their motivations changed little by little and realize that, damn, maybe my way of life kinda sucked actually. Other characters don't have any reason to live. They long to have a conviction, something to drive their actions and give them some purpose. And I think this whole concept of convictions is such a genius way to make sure that every character gets character development. And honestly, I think it's the first main character's journey that probably resonated the hardest for me personally. The first 3 episodes while we follow him are honestly all you need to see to determine whether or not this show is for you, because every single one of them is an absolute banger. So if you don't like them, yeah, it's probably not for you. This show is all about space and planets, and on the surface that doesn't really sound all that interesting. I know a lot of anime that will have their whole show centered around real life things that will somehow still manage to make it just as boring and mundane as it sounds. But this anime has an incredibly good ability to deliver information to you in the most engaging way possible. Like, you know, in Attack on Titan when they'll drop these crazy reveals and the whole room will get shocked and like some insane music starts playing? Yeah, it's kind of like that here, except that we already are aware of the information being said to us. It'll be like, the Earth is round. Again, the show is obviously delivering to us stuff about space that we already know, but they just make it sound so engaging and interesting. I also think it has a lot of great messaging that I can really get behind. And again, I think the first 3 episodes did this really well with the main character. Even in death, Rafal is happy, happier than everyone around him because he's doing what he loves. He'd rather do that than be tied down by the expectations of those around him. And because he's the only one that refuses to conform with society, he is the happiest one. Pretty much every character deals with similar themes and figuring out their purpose in life, and it's incredibly rewarding to see how they deal with it. Although I do think that as much as I admire the author changing up the main character so much, as it is a really daring choice that does end up working well, there are some character deaths, particularly in the second half of the show, that I don't think work that well. The deaths themselves are fine, but it's more so the way they die, which can sometimes be a bit forced. Like, sometimes it's clear that the author kind of needed certain characters to die, but didn't really have a good way to do so in the natural way, so it gets a bit contrived sometimes. The best example of this is one that happens pretty early on, where a character that I had started taking a pretty big liking to is walking over this normal bridge with another character. And as they're walking, the bridge just collapses, and he falls down into the water and dies.
That shit was ass.
Like, you're telling me you couldn't have found any other better way to write them out of the story than this? Although it does have what is maybe the best death I've ever seen in anime. But that's honestly the only criticism I have for this show. Every other aspect of it is just peak. It has an incredible antagonist that is just top tier. When this guy's in his prime, he will make you shit your pants every time you see him. It has so much tension on a level that reminded me a lot of Vinland Saga, and honestly some pretty good action. It's not like amazing or anything, and there's not really that much of it either, but for what we get, it's pretty damn solid with some really good animation from Madhouse. I really like the way every character has some sort of value when it comes to combat. This guy's a really good swordsman, this guy can use explosives, and the others aren't really that skilled fighters, so they just have to use whatever they have available. It works because you know exactly what every character is capable of at all times, and makes you aware of the stakes were they to fight the enemy. I should also add that the music is also peak. The guy who did the score for Chainsaw Man and a bunch of other animes behind this one, and man, he fucking cooked. I especially love the ambient tracks as they really elevate the scenes where two characters are just talking. Which yeah, the show has a lot of talking, but that's not a bad thing at all because it's really good at making you think. Thought-provoking is probably the best way to describe this show. A lot of things the characters said would just like stun lock me and put me so deep into my thoughts that I'd have to like rewind because I just missed everything said afterwards. Orb has given me some top tier characters, 10 out of 10 moments that I still think about to this day. And honestly, I'm excited to see more from the author behind this as he's pretty young, so I'm gonna give Orb a 9 out of 10. Pretty damn good. And honestly made me pretty excited to check out new seasonal anime again because I don't think I've enjoyed one this much since Pluto, so make sure to check out my thoughts on that in this video.